Are you in or recovering from a toxic relationship? Our next guest wrote a book on how to spot, how to leave, and how to move on from toxic relationships. Author, licensed therapist, and trauma specialist Jaime Mahler joins us now. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Nice to see you this morning.
Yeah, you too. Okay, so let's get right into it. What should people look for to understand if their partner or even if they are the toxic ones in a relationship?
Well, I mean, there's a few key points that I point out in the book, and one of the ones I really hone in on is devaluation, when a partner's constantly criticizing you or attacking you. Another oversight that many people don't catch is neglect, right? A partner that genuinely doesn't attend to any emotional needs. So they kind of just show up. And what you were talking about, sometimes we can do this as well, right? So when we find ourselves in dynamics where we're just not emotionally attending to each other anymore, and that ends up turning into very actually harmful behaviors.
Okay, so once someone identifies toxic traits, what should they do next?
Well, that's the tricky part, right? So we talk about in the book the cycle, and the cycle is a known issue, and anyone who specializes this in this work is that when we are trying to identify the toxic relationship, it's not just about identification and awareness, it's about kind of a call inward about the cycle that is perpetuated. And so that can be a myriad of reasons, right? Some people can threaten you if they try to leave. And there's also not even just physical threats, it's emotional threats, right? They can be like, no one's ever gonna love you. Like, you're so unattractive. How could anyone ever? And people are like, why would you go back to that? But if you start believing that, right, you're gonna be like, well, okay, but you told me you care about me, so maybe maybe this is safer, maybe this is more familiar. So it has to do with both, and the relationship with them and the relationship you have within yourself.
And do you think the toxic person in that, if they said something like, no one else would ever love you the way I do, is that, you think, manipulation on purpose, or do you think maybe they're just afraid to lose that person?
Sure. I mean, that's the question of the century, right? When people go, was this intentional? Did they mean to do this? And we address that in the book. And one of the things I like to point out is, and this is a hard thing to hear, when we are interacting with partners, whether or not it's intentional or unintentional, the implication actually is the same. And that's a really hard truth to absorb, right? So if I sit there and I go, we can spend an entire session, I'm trying to figure out if it was intentional or unintentional, yet talk to me about how it felt to endure that behavior. And when they go, it hurt regardless. And I go, that's what we need to focus on.
Okay. So, we know that we don't have much time left. So a big part, of course, is recovery. So what is just a couple steps to healing? And then tell us where we can find your book.
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things that I like to tell the people that are going to pick up this book is that the book is divided just like that. The beginning is the relationship with them. The second half of the book is the relationship you're going to build with yourself. So this is a lot of reevaluating the way you talk to yourself. You never want to mimic your partner's voice or the ex's voice inside your own psyche. So when you wake up and you call yourself overweight or unattractive or nobody's ever going to love you, and that voice integrated, that's really what we're focusing on right at the end. We go, wait, let's reevaluate the relationship that you have with yourself, and then we can figure out what the next step is after that.
Absolutely. Okay, Jaime, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And more will be right back.